Exclusive. Hello, this is Kevin Olds-Falmers, and welcome to another episode of Land of Gazillion Adoptees podcast. And today I have the Declassified Adoptee, Amanda Woolston, on the phone today. How are you, Amanda?
Good, Kevin. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. Thanks for joining us here today. So you're one of the most prolific and well-known bloggers out there. What's up with the Declassified Adoptee?
That was because, let's see, I started the blog. It was called "Are You My Birth Mother?" And but I finally found her. But to have to do that, I had to unseal all of these things. And, my adoption record through the state and my original birth certificate and all this other bureaucracy and red tape that I had to go through. And I remember when I first got my adoption file, I opened this small envelope that was in this more enormous envelope, and out fell 4 Polaroids of me, newborn pictures in the hospital.
Holy smokes.
I had a newborn picture of myself before. And this was in a government file. And I thought, wow, I was top secret.
Yeah.
Now that I have that information in my hands, and it's my story, and it's within my power to know my origins and share what I would or wouldn't want shared with other people, I consider myself declassified from all that secrecy.
Fantastic. So how long have you been... how long has Declassified Adoptee been in existence?
Oh, wow. I think about 2.5 years now? 2 years?
Very cool, very cool. Seriously, your stuff is everywhere, and you touch upon a lot of topics that go obviously well beyond the, your relationship with your search for your past and all that stuff. But what has been, for you, because you've seen a lot of stuff come and go, what has been the most surprising thing to you about what's been happening in the adoption community?
I think because of the resistance I've had in my state, and I've seen in other states in unsealing original birth certificates, I feel like in my short time advocating for adoptee rights, being alive and present for the historical, not present there, but news-wise over the internet for Rhode Island opening up for adoptees. That, activists have been doing this since the early 1950s, and to actually be able to be alive and following it when something like that happens in history was really big for me.
Very cool, very cool. So, beyond that, what's been, man, why are we getting all this feedback? Okay, folks, we're back. We had some technical difficulties, and now we're going to choose something completely different. We're actually going to videotape function here, and Amanda has her lovely earphones on to get some of the feedback, and that person in the background happens to be who?
William.
William. How old is William?
He's 8 months old.
Oh, he's very cute.
And he must be in contact with a human being at all times, so
very
he could be
cool.
interviewing with me.
How tall is he? He seems very tall.
He's huge. He hasn't been to the doctor since his 6-month appointment.
Yep.
But I would say he's probably 27, 28 inches long.
Oh my gosh. We have a 10-month-old daughter, and she's not even close to being that big.
He was 21.5 inches when he was born. So he's 9 pounds, 3 ounces. Yeah.
What a brute. Well, let's get back into the conversation, because you, my friend, are a brute on your blog. You write about everything and anything, and write in such a passionate way. So you've talked about some of the things that surprised you. What do you like writing about the most?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I never thought about that. I think I go through phases of where I like to write about whatever I feel really confident about. I've been into feminism, writing about feminism recently. I like to write about research that I've read when I have time. I guess personal stories are the easiest, but they're the hardest, because no one wants to hear a critique about their personal story. And when you write a blog, you open it up to the entire internet to tell you either did wonderfully or that you're an idiot. So
what's wrong with me talking about my nasty toes that I got from my family, right?
Right.
I'm kidding. So what so you don't like to write necessarily about your own personal experiences, but what topics of interest in the lately has been of interest to you?
Yeah, I can think back. Well, National Adoption Awareness Month.
What do you think of National?
I try to do a lot about foster care.
What's that?
I try to do a lot about foster care for National Adoption Awareness Month. Because that was started as a day for foster care. I guess they originally made it on the day that a lot of adoptions are finalized in November each year for foster care, and then it turned into like a week and then a whole month. But it's really been misappropriated to just, there are agencies offering discounts for private adoptions in honor of National Adoption Awareness Month, and it's like it's used as like a promotional thing, and it's really about kids who have been in foster care a long time. They need a family that's going to love them and raise them and care for them. And a lot of people, there's a lot of stereotypes, and Florian has a cold start. There's a lot of stereotypes that keep children from being adopted from foster care, that they're damaged or they're, and so that month was really supposed to be a time of dispelling things that lead to kids not being adopted from foster care. So I try to put the focus back on them.
So when you do this type of activity, and obviously you're blogging prolifically, you're questioning a lot of practices that happen in adoption, and obviously this particular process of marketing the National Adoption Awareness Month. What kind of reactions do you get from people that are quote unquote the pro-adoption agency folks?
I don't get a lot of feedback from them. I used to, and I don't. And I wonder why sometimes. I thought it was maybe because of my About Me page. I make it very clear. I even address what anti-adoption is, all the different meanings. And I hope people really are stopping there first before they comment on my blog. Because, I mean, really, on any post I make, we can get into the, are you pro-adoption, anti-adoption, with what I kind of made that page to kind of dispel those assumptions. So I hope it's because people are stopping there first and they understand that it's a bigger picture than that.
So could you just roundabout way, what is the bigger picture?
The bigger picture is about making adoption better and putting the focus back on kids. And I really don't feel like anybody, no matter what perspective they come from, can argue about that. It's adoption for a long time, and it is still, it's seen as some type of service to find children for deserving parents. And you always hear about adoption from that perspective. And when you remind people that it's about finding homes for children, and hey, I was once one of those kids, I mean, I think a lot of people are hard-pressed to argue with that when you put it that way.
Absolutely.
So,
William agrees.
William agrees.
Does William go by Bill every now and then, or no?
I'm sorry. Oh, Bill. Well, my father-in-law is Bill, so we call him Will to kind of reduce confusion. But yeah, people have called him Bill and Billy.
All right. So now, while you're doing the parenting thing and you're doing the blogging thing, I understand that you're also going to school.
I go to school, yeah.
Full time?
I don't have a lot of time for anything.
You are insane.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how my life worked out. I had so much trouble figuring out what I wanted to do when I, entered into adulthood, and I said, maybe I'll just start the whole family thing first, and then other stuff will fall into place. So now I'm a mother of two, going to school full time.
Wow. So what are you going to school for?
I'm a social work major.
What's up with adoptees and social work, man? We all gravitate
and psychology, too. A lot of psychology majors. I have a psychology degree. Started there first. I don't know. I think a lot of adoptees are aware of the social ills, and they want to make society a better place for everybody.
So how has your schooling influenced some of the work that you do? William asked the same question, obviously.
I'm training to be what's called an entry-level social worker, and it's called a generalist practitioner. And what generalists do is they develop intervention plans on 3 levels. There's the micro level, which is the individual. I know, William.
Sorry. I'm laughing at him, sorry.
Talking to me while I'm talking to you. There's the individual level, which, I might help someone who's homeless find shelter. And then there's the group level, the meso level, where I might, lead a group of people struggling with drug and alcohol addiction. And then there's the macro level, which is where you try to implement change on a state or national level. And so all of my training has really opened my eyes about a lot of things that could help me in my advocacy within the adoption community, but especially the broader level of social change. That training has helped me a lot with Pennsylvania Adoptee Rights, which is the grassroots organization that I kind of head and advocating, and we've worked really hard. And one of our members, Priscilla, she has got one of her legislators to draft a bill for us, so she's
Great.
awesome. So all of us working together, we're an awesome team.
Very cool. So talk more about the Pennsylvania Adoptee Rights. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Yep.
Well, it's a grassroots organization in Pennsylvania, and our goal is to spread education, whatever's needed to get adoptee rights restored in Pennsylvania. We have a passive mutual consent registry that just got turned into an active mutual consent registry, and that's where both parties have to consent to the release of identifying information. And then there's the court system involved if you want to try and petition a judge, and it's just a mess, and nobody knows what to do. The individual courts sometimes are confused when you ask them questions, and so our goal is just open access for adoptees, and whatever other registries you want to do for medical history, or that's fine, but birth certificates are our thing. So
very cool, very cool. And how long has this been going on?
About the same time that I started blogging, over 2 years.
Great. And how big is the membership?
I would say we have probably 8 board members, or members we don't have like a traditional system. I would say there's probably like 8 core members that do a lot of speaking for us and communicating with legislators. And we probably have about over 100 people that are actively following. And then we have our fans on Facebook, which I think our fan page is over 400 to 500.
Really?
Yeah. So, and the fan page is really great because that's easy for us to like send articles out and you like this, or, you sign the petition. But large groups of people, a lot of adoptees don't live in Pennsylvania anymore. So the amount that they can contact their legislators for us is really limited. So, which is one of those double whammies of adoptee rights. I don't vote in the state that holds my birth certificate hostage, so I'm advocating for adoptees here.
Very cool.
And a lot of adoptees are in that situation.
Very cool. So once you're armed with this degree and you've armed with this awesome blog and kicking some butt in Pennsylvania Adoptee Rights, what's next for you?
Oh, I don't know. I ask myself that a lot. I'm thinking about doing community work. I have no desire to work at an adoption agency or do any type of child welfare or adoption work at all.
Stay away, my friend. Stay away.
Yeah. So I have questions to ask you about that. It's just way too close to home for me, and there's just too many problems in the system for me to want to be involved in it. I don't think that I will be able to do that much good from the inside as I would from the outside, so I'd prefer to just stay outside. A lot of people say, oh, you're in social work school and you're adopted. You want to be an adoption worker. There's my golden retriever. There's never a quiet moment in my house.
Well, what's the name of the golden retriever?
We have Maggie and Jack. The big one, well, I realize you can't see them. The big one is...
I just saw them running around.
And he's the one that's banging his head underneath the table under here. Forget. But my ultimate goal is to do community work, and that's where people come in with an agency with various needs. My electric shut off, I don't have any money, I need clothes, food pantry type stuff, referrals for health, breastfeeding education, those types of things. So, and I also I worked with the elderly before I went back to school, so that's also something. And I can incorporate adoption stuff into that because there's a lot of people don't realize the needs of original adoptive parents as they age, as well as adoptees. You know, how do you help a 80-year-old adoptee who's in a nursing home and she tells you, I decide I want to search for my original information and family?
Right.
Most social workers are not going to know how to help. Well, I would hope they would, but I wouldn't have when I worked in a nursing home, and I'm adopted. So I hope to, if I have some adopted clients, that I could especially help them.
Right. So what advice do you have for the adoptee who might be considering, you know, the route that you're taking with, you know, psychology to social work and so forth? And I mean, I think like we have discussed, a lot of adoptees kind of go down that road and they end up going to social welfare, you know, places. What advice do you have for adoptees who might be in their, you know, late teens or early 20s who are considering that route?
Find healing first. A lot of times anybody, not just adoptees, people are drawn to helping professions, like involving sociology, psychology, social work, because they've suffered something and they know what it feels like, and they feel like that empathy gives them a base to be able to help other people. But it's never appropriate to expect your client to feel sorry for you. And whether you do that openly or it's subliminal, you have to be really aware of that. So if you've suffered with depression and you want to help other people who are depressed, for example, you really have to see a therapist, work on your own issues, because that can't come into, you're there to help someone else, and that's it. You can't be working on your own issues at the same time. And school will bring a lot of those things up for you. You'll be talking about environment-based theories, psychologically based theories. You'll be diagnosing yourself every 5 minutes. So you have to take good care of yourself. And
I'm Asian. Oh my God, who knew? Asian syndrome.
I think I had by Psychology 101, I was convinced I had everything in the DSM-4. So.
That's funny. Huh. Very cool. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Well, I was looking at kind of like, you know how some blogs give you like a web analytics and you can see different things about like your traffic. And
yeah.
I see what people are typing into search engines when they come to my blog.
Okay.
And there was one thing there are a lot of really interesting things that people say, like, how can I help adult adoptees be more grateful? And I don't know how they ended up on my blog. Maybe that is. I don't think they got very much help using my blog for that. Like a lot of things about purchase. But the one that I read recently, someone typed into Google just the phrase, I am overwhelmed being an adoptee. And, you know, I don't think I offer very much advice on my blog about not being overwhelmed, because I kind of pack it with information and, you know, go at topics full force. So my other advice for anybody is not to be overwhelmed. And if you feel that way, to go to a therapist, a support group, channel those negative feelings to a positive channel through, you know, larger advocacy work. And, you know, I almost wish that person would have, like, emailed me. And right. I hope they found something on my blog that made them feel better. So that's my other piece of advice.
Very cool. I think they're both really sound advices, and I wholeheartedly agree with both of them. So thank you for your time, Declassified Adoptee.
Thank you for having me. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Now, are we going to turn the pages and go the other direction?
Yeah.